Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain universe? I was going to say in the Yetiverse. What's going on in the On the Chain universe over there? All you guys, you know who you are. Those crypto fans, XRP fans, Bitcoin maxis, Ethereum freaks. You guys know who you are. You guys are all tuning in. Make sure you guys give a quick shout out to where you're tuning in from. Give a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because tonight's going to be epic. Hoskinson just backed Ripple. What does that mean? We're going to talk about it. More chaos in Europe, Chip. Who would have thought? And stablecoins keep surging. Is this XRP's wild ride or what? What is going on? Because, man, there's a lot of things we got to workshop, a lot of things we got to talk about. We're going to dig in deep tonight.
Deep.
Hang on.
Going deep.
Going deep.
Going deep. Ready?
Shallow end.
Let's head first in the shallow end. That's for maximum impact. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome to On the Chain. Drop where you're coming in from. I see every yikes. Never been an Apple fan. My job never favored it. My job always favored it. So there you go. I don't know what you lost, but you lost your. Did you lose your power adapter? I don't know what you lost there. You said you lost your MacBook adapter. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing your ability to charge or adapter, because there's a lot of dongles with Apple.
A lot of types of adapters.
That's a lot of problem. I'm here, bros. Missile explosion is here.
Missile
there you go.
explosion.
Good y'all from the Philippines. Ray Run.
So
Goop is in here. Goop. Whoa,
what
Goop.
is going on, Goop?
Coming in. It's been a while. Yeah,
Art
great to
on
see
the lake.
you. Art on the
Central
lake
Florida.
is here.
Nice.
Hawthorne. Hawthorne's a great little area. I like Hawthorne. I've been to Hawthorne and like it.
Yes.
It's quite nice. Quite nice little area.
Check.
Nice little
Marks the spot.
area. Yeah, perfect. John Page checking in. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, it's a holiday weekend here in the United States. We have Memorial Day, which is where we remember the people who basically fought for the freedoms of this country. And that's why you do not wish anybody a happy Memorial Day, because this is a pretty solemn experience, but we will have some things to chime in about that as well. Does the dude in the picture have a second row of teeth? Which dude? Which dude? What are you talking about there, chat? Does the dude in the picture have a second row of teeth? I don't know who that is exactly, but I don't know who that is. It's from down under. Yeah. Yeah. You hear it?
I hear it.
You hear it? You feel it? All right, let's start with this story. This is an interesting thing that came across the feed here. I saw this. This is John Wingate. This is 2 days ago, I think. When did he post this? 2 days ago? He said, hey, I just had a meeting with the Ripple team. Great meeting. Maybe the greatest meeting in the history of international settlements. Like, he sounds a lot like Trump.
I like that.
Hedera and H-bar still a huge part of the strategy. So he's saying that, thank you. A huge part of the strat. Hey boy. Okay. Huge part of the strategy. Now, so is XRP. So he's saying Hedera and H-bar are still in the mix, but he had the greatest meeting in the history of international settlements, maybe the greatest of all. And if you're not thinking big enough, think big. Then I don't know, what is that? How many zeros we have? There's 3, there's 6, there's 1 million exit. That's what he's saying. 1 million exit if you're not thinking big enough. So that's what he's chiming in about right there. Chris Darker said, yeah, no. And then John said, well, my zero key got stuck. Still bigger than most can imagine. So he said, can you explain how you reached the conclusion based on what Ripple's doing to drive the price of XRP 1 million X, speculating on the actions of the third party? Zero reference the price. And that's how I read it too. He's not talking about price. He's talking about he wasn't never alluding the price. I didn't get that either. Did you?
No.
I mean, basically, he was just talking about, he had a great meeting. He was talking about how great it was about international settlements and how great it is XRP and cross, international settlement. He didn't say anything about price. Of course, Dark Horse has to make it about price. He does zero reference to price. I know where everyone's head goes. I'm talking about the size and the scope of the project. I think in terms of transaction volume and money moved on chain. No one can predict what that means directly with regard to price. Well said. Dark Horse said, never heard anyone say 1 million X and not be about price. So I guess this is what I'm talking about. Be straight with your spin or your spinning. So he tells him what he's talking about. He doesn't accept what he's talking about. That's Dark Horse for you. And then Noel Scum says, because of who you listen to mostly want to be capitalistic simp ticks. So he goes on to talk about that. And then, so who is this guy? John Wingate. He's at President Odell on X. He's BankSocial.io CEO. It's the leading evolution of financial systems with DeFi and credit unions. Crypto and DLT evangelist. List HBAR, XRP, BSL, BTC, ETH, and RLUSD. And here we go. Here's the BankSocial.io, leading global financial evolution. And then here's the website itself, which is turn your financial institution into a fintech. Introducing BankSocial Neuron, financial experiences that customers and employees will love, launch, manage, and orchestrate your financial institution from one intelligent AI-enabled control center. And there it is.
That's pretty cool.
That seems like a pretty cool idea, especially since I haven't seen anybody doing this type of service. Of course, they list off a bunch of financial institutions that are using it, deliver exceptional results, fraud detection, intelligence, money AI, lending, card issuance. Looks like a lot of stuff that that company Ramp has too, with issuances and account opening structure. A lot of the same similar things we've probably seen before. With Neuron, you deliver everything from one AI-enabled platform in days and weeks, not months and years. So it seems like it kind of accelerates the process there. Immersive platform empowers your team with intuitive tools, orchestrates seamless banking experiences through intelligent AI insights and actions, meaningful member moments. So you got a platform as creating intuitive, seamless interactions that make banking feel effortless. So yeah, it sounds like just a really cool way to leverage AI, launch bank, create a financial institution, get you up and running pretty fast. Also has agentic AI audibles. We paired AI with insights and augmentation to create intelligent systems that adapt in real time. AI adjusts member experiences and provide your team with actionable insights. It tells you what you should be doing. Is it right for me? So I don't know what this is, but compatibility analysis, blah, 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 12 weeks, average ROI, 267%. That's pretty solid. 267% is the average return on investment based on what you start doing. Move like the big boys. Big banks, flashy apps don't own innovation anymore. Credit unions and community banks are taking it back. Neuron turns any institution, no matter whatever size, into a fintech force that can outpace Robinhood, Venmo, Cash App, launch in days, start shaking up the industry on day one. Pretty cool.
I like it.
Kind of gets you up pretty fast. Nice. Yeah, so there's some credit unions chiming in. This is a big one right there. I know that one well. And here we go. Stop thinking like a small credit union, start thinking like a fintech. Partner with the right fintech wasn't just a tech decision, strategic move. We need to partner, shared our vision. So yeah, pretty cool. Credit Union of Texas, today's financial infrastructure. So it's a pretty interesting thing. So yeah, it sounds to me like they're going to be leveraging, Ripple, especially from the cross-border side, and then they'll be able to enable this through their AI, through their BankSocial, and they'll be able to hook everybody up that kind of comes on board probably with that ability. So nice way to get it out to the masses, as they say, Jeff.
Nice.
Right?
I like it. I like it.
I like it a lot.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it. It's good. It's a good thing. And then what else we have here? Rather Common put this up. Our old pal Rather Common, we haven't talked about him in a while, but he said Ripple contributing to Singapore's independent reserve cryptocurrency index of 2025, designed for scale. RLUSD is built for the future of payments. This was written by Fiona Murray. She's the APAC managing director at Ripple. We don't see her too often in there. She might know if she's new or not, and she's talked about the independent reserve cryptocurrency index. Makes one thing abundantly clear: stablecoins are becoming essential infrastructure across APAC, and of course the globe, for enterprise and institutional adoption. And according to the IRCI, 83% of stablecoin holders in Singapore choose USD pegged stablecoins, with most citing price stability and familiarity with fiat currency as primary factors for use. Stablecoin adoption will continue to grow, and demand is driven by utility. Data shows that stablecoins are being used for more complex, sophisticated, and tangible purposes, such as the cross-border transfers, roughly 17%, DeFi lending or staking, 18%, and derivatives trading around 19%. So at Ripple, we've seen the momentum firsthand on some stablecoins created in the era where retail traders were the core audience. RLUSD was developed with high-value institutional utility and compliance at its core. Ripple USD was quickly integrated into Ripple Payments, already powering faster, smarter global payment flows with APEC partners like BKK Forex and iSend since launching less than 6 months ago. Experienced a lot of growth, explosive, nearly 300 million in market cap, eclipsing about 10 billion in trading volume. Track record exemplifies the strong demand in the global market for compliance-oriented digital assets specifically designed for enterprise use. I think that's the key thing too. It's like designed for enterprise, which is not really designed for the retail holder per se, though you can.
Yeah, I kind of like this approach, Chip. I think, as we start really looking at the scale of it, the enterprise aspect of it, is this going to be where do they get the biggest bang for the buck? Where are they going to get the biggest initiative? Are they, a circle for the for retail? Is it, P2P? Is it B2C? Or is it the big momentum? What was the original intent that Ripple built? And that was all about, and we've talked about it so many times, it's all about enterprise, all about institution. It's about big money movement. It's not about little money. It's about big millions of dollars over seconds, multiple trades like that every single day. We've looked this number up before, just trying to think what that number is, but on a daily basis, how much money is moved by institutions? I mean, it's a crazy number, and
massive,
right? So now that's the orchestration. So now as they bring the RLUSD into it, they want future enterprise, they want institution, they want to be part of the orchestration of moving money. And that's why I love that. RLUSD will power more than payments. The next generation of crypto adoption will be fueled by stablecoin utility based on solving real world problems. That's it. As soon as you identify what those real world problems are and you have the solution to solve it, then you're in a good spot. Or are you a solution in search of future problems? Maybe you don't even think those problems exist yet. Good thing is that moving money is fucking difficult. It's not easy to move money. It's not easy to do it from a retail perspective, and it's definitely not easy to do it from a business perspective or an institution perspective. If you've ever tried to move money, then you realize how complex it is and how difficult it is. And then so if you can go institution makes it more seamless, makes it easier, bring it down to retail. There's no reason for Ripple to go to retail. They go to institution, let the big guys, then, deal with their customers. And those are the enterprise solutions. Now let's have a seamless functionality of our payment system, top down.
Time.
Man.
Chet says there's 6 zeros short when it comes to derivatives. That's quadrillion-dollar market. So yeah, that's a good point. That and we kind of knew what he was alluding to when he was talking about like how big it is and how excited he is. But I also think too that he realized integrating the tech and combining it and then making it available. Because if you think about it, really credit unions, the backbone, the smaller banks, very independently owned. And the funny thing about credit unions, usually the smaller banks are usually regional in size. Sometimes they cover areas, but they're no nonsense, right? So when you go get a loan for purchase a home, they don't have all these weird fees associated with, they're really there to serve. So being able to next level to bring this to these smaller type banks and then giving them the power to be able to go and expand beyond that, it's massive, right? So they don't have to play like a little player anymore, and they can probably serve a wider region, because a lot of these are really regional, right? They might just be in a small town or an area, or a lot of times they're named after, a certain type of credit union that services a certain
Mhm.
industry. So I think where his excitement comes from is the whole idea of, wow, we can bring this kind of level power to make a regular regional credit union to a financial institution powerhouse. So I
Mhm.
think that's really cool, especially
Oh,
coupling with AI, putting the agentic stuff in there is going to
yes.
make it even better, right? I mean, all around. So I
And they'll
thought that was a
remove
cool
people.
development.
Remove all the people. If you get agentic, operatives, working in the background to seamlessly, facilitate all of those transactions. Now you have the money movement. Then you add in the smart contract and you put all of the different elements together. We're already seeing the legal profession is going to be changing drastically with the introduction of AI. I think a lot of, the written type and research, and there's things that can happen. You're always going to need, the human element to piece it together, the relationship part. There's a lot of things that happen on the back end that can just be seamless where you don't, we're not going to worry about the fat. We're entering an interesting, very interesting space. We just got to make sure we do it right. There we go. Swift moves $5 to $20 trillion every day. There we go.
Every single day. And then
Good number.
JWH has an interesting thought here. He says, as a bag holder, I'm increasingly concerned, is the Ripple ecosystem being outpaced by the likes of traditional banks and other blockchain tech? And is Bitcoin or Bitcoin related derivative assets sucking up the vast majority of the open liquidity in the market? Concerned about Ripple XRP. Your thoughts on that, Jeff?
I'm trying to digest that. So I think the big next step, you're looking at BTC related derivative asset. The big next step will be the XRP ETF. If the X, if that doesn't get approval, I think we're going to start seeing an issue. If it gets approval, I think then XRP becomes a player in normal, just the normal stock. It changes the game, right?
Of
It
course.
opens it up to everybody. Until that happens, are these other assets, are they, making bigger headway? Obviously, Bitcoin is number one, right? Bitcoin, first mover advantage. Bitcoin recognized and accepted on a global scale by governments, by huge corporations. It's the one everybody talks about, but it also becomes synonymous with other crypto assets. People start using Bitcoin, thinking about the basket of crypto assets. That opens it up to a lot of other goods. Ethereum had first mover advantage in smart contracts chip. But look where that's kind of going. I think
Yeah.
smart contracts is interesting, but you can always have another player that could compete with that. Can you have another player that competes with gold? Let's say Bitcoin is the bigger store of value, which I think is the biggest recognized use case at this point. Put Bitcoin in your treasury, put Bitcoin in your strategic reserve. Companies are doing it. Countries are doing it. It makes sense. Can you have another that is as equal from that perspective? I'm sure there's going to be another. You have a basket of currencies, starts making sense. The big move, my opinion, again, Chip, is going to be the ETF from a traditional bank. I'm not concerned about Ripple.
No.
That doesn't bother me one way. Which I mean, look at what they've gone through as a company for the past 4 years. They've overcome all of those hurdles. They're making inroads beyond any other crypto asset firm in the world right now. They've done things to be on the forefront. They didn't put themselves out there. They had to put themselves out there, but they could have caved. They kept fighting the battle for everybody else. They were the tip of the spear against the SEC to help push, forward. That ended up, look at the one court case with the XRP asset, the only one that has, true clarity from a court perspective. But they've done so much more than that. They're moving forward. The ecosystem is growing and building and developing. We haven't stopped. If the world stopped today, if development stopped today, I would say yes, Bitcoin probably won. But it hasn't, right? The world hasn't stopped. We're still moving. There's still more development. We're still progressing. We don't even know all the components of where crypto is going to enter into people's lives in the next 5 years. We can guess at it, we can talk about it, we can speculate over it, but we don't really understand yet the exact direction it's going to go until you get true regulatory clarity and you start seeing how these financial institutions start piecing it together. Right now, the name of the game are stable coins for moving money, and it totally makes sense. The rest of the infrastructure has to be developed. You have to build it. There has to be more development in the space. It's going to be in and around business and real world asset, the tokenization of real world asset and beyond.
Something too,
Chip, what are your thoughts on that? That's my
spot on. I mean, I think you bring up a lot of good points, but also too, if you think about, I think that Ripple's made some really strategic moves. And I think, we kind of forget about them. They're like, oh yeah, well, don't forget they acquired Standard Custody and Trust. And that was basically to bolster their institutional grade asset, custody part of the business. That's huge. Okay. So now instead of becoming we do cross-border payments or we do this, now they become a full-bodied solution because now they're offering institutional custody. And let's not forget Hidden Road. So Hidden Road already had the infrastructure already built in there. You're talking about some of the giants in the industry. Hidden Road's only going to grow. So what Ripple's really done is they've moved beyond this niche sort of business into tokenization. They moved into custody of digital assets, but on an institutional level, and then also moving that money on institutional level with a traded name with Hidden Road. And now they're looking at, now we keep hearing these echoes of, well, they looking after Circle. Are they going after Circle? Is that a possibility? I mean, we keep hearing about that, but to be honest, the fact, if you start breaking down the numbers, it makes a lot more sense for somebody like Ripple to be in charge and of Circle, because out of $960 million that gets outlaid every year, to $1 billion that gets outlaid over to Coinbase, they're only making very little. I think 1.3 billion. And if once the interest rates change, the interest rates are going to come down at some point, and then they're going to be squeezed even further. So are they going to rely on doing an IPO to raise $4 billion and live off of that? Where is the future money earnings going to come from? That's where I think Ripple has the better shot at this overall. And I think that, going forward, Ripple's put together a pretty good plan about how they want to sort of attack this. And we also wanted to do this too. Look at that. Rain here. Rain is in the building.
Rain.
What's going on? Rain. An OG in the space. Rain is in the building. And I think too, by the way, today's Jeff's rant brought to you by Badass Yeti Coffee. Thank you. Damn right it was. Badass Yeti Coffee. Absolutely. And then this is interesting too, because you teased this in the upfront. We talked a little bit about Charles Hoskinson. So somebody had asked him on a live stream about Ripple, and listen to what he says. Very, very similar to what we've kind of been saying here, Jeff, but let's listen in.
Antitrust concerns with the Ripple acquisition of Circle, I think it make the space better. There's this Coinbase A16Z Circle Mafia where they've built an ecosystem and it's self-serving in that ecosystem. And if you're outside of it, you get completely blacklisted and it's hard to get listed, it's hard to get liquidity, and it's hard to get a stable coin. So by XRP coming in, it breaks apart that monopoly and creates more diversity. And I think they'll be a better custodian and frankly higher integrity than some of the people, especially on the Circle side.
He holds not. What I like about Charles Hoskinson, he never holds back any punches. He tells it exactly the way it is. The guy's very honest, and he's landing some very good points here. People are worried about regulatory stuff, and he's like, if anything, it'll make it better. And this is what I think a lot of people are failing to miss. They're going to miss how much better the ecosystem would become, how much more full-figured it would become, because Circle is it's a stable coin. That's it. It's all it's ever been. It doesn't have any other methods of earning income, of monetizing outside of its, relying on interest rates. And a lot of it's already farmed out to Coinbase. So he's right about this sort of, I mean, this isn't talked about a lot, but this sort of mafiosa that he talks about, A16, which is the big money, which dumps a lot of money into a lot of the projects. But, and then Coinbase, they kind of protect their own territory. And he kind of calls it out here. I haven't seen too many people call that out, but he calls it out and says, look, this is only going to make it better. Your thoughts?
And I think so too. I think, I'm glad to see Hoskinson, step into the fray on this. It's good to see other members within the broader community, really come together on that. I think it's really important. And it's interesting too, because I'm looking at Visual Vendetta. He said, I can't stand Charles H. Ever since Charles J. slandered Ripple, I just can't stand
Oh,
it. And, so, but there's going to be a little bit of that, animosity in the space, because there has been a little bit of that circulating. Everyone's kind of focused in on their own. You know what? The market, everything is growing up right now. It's not, one isn't, I mean, you're going to have competition. One is going to be a better use case for whatever it is. One's going to be a better use case, for whatever that one is going to be good for. And we're going to move forward. We're kind of above and beyond, the garage wars at this point. We got to step into real world, and kind of the space is growing up, I guess is my point. Kind of like Apple and Microsoft back during their garage war days, way back in the beginning. I'm sure there was a lot of tension. There was a lot of maximalism. There's still a lot of maximalism in between, the Apple crowd and everybody else, whether you're on a Microsoft platform or, if you're on an Android platform. But at the end of the day, look at from a commercial perspective, there's cross usage on all the different platforms. They got above it, right? If you're on a Mac, guess what? You're probably using a Microsoft product, a software product. If you're on Mac or you're on Android, guess what? There's apps that work on both platforms. We've kind of grown up beyond our maximalism, right? And that's where the commercial intent has to go. So that's why I'm glad to see, Charles coming in also. All these different all these different aspects within the crypto space are critical. They're all important. Without, you take one out, and then what do you have? You just have nothing, right? If we took everything out and all you had was Bitcoin from the beginning, then what would you really have? I'm not really sure how far it would have gone beyond, the computer geeks, so to speak.
Yeah, it's true. Adrian Starnvark says facts and tax, VAT. Tell him, Charles.
That's right.
Tell him, give it up. Jim D had a good point here too. Ripple has 4 big advantages. Number 1, world-class relationships and credibility. Check. Number 2, very well-tested leading-edge technology. Check. Number 3, locked in on all ISO standards. Check. And also reputation, nearly zero downtime. Right. So they do have that. Also, they're very well funded, and they also took on the crypto industry. They also took on the SEC. And they got a big win. People can look at it the way they want, but that was a win for the entire crypto age. And they stood up. They didn't like lay over and say, "Oh yeah, we'll get on our knees and we'll bend the knee for you," and this and that. They stood up and said, "No, you're on the wrong side of history," and they proved to be right. So you gotta love that stuff. I mean, that's interoperability. Another one, Art's bringing up that interoperability is certainly key.
There's the word.
Where's your damn MacBook adapter? Is it your charger? What are you talking about, man? Good day from South Australia.
Trying to plug it into his Microsoft thing.
After 5 years of well, that's true, Jeff, because you still have to use Word and Excel. So I'm using Word and Excel on a Mac. So you do have the cross pollination of products, and also Google and everything else too. And I do use some Mac stuff too, but it's not as strong. After 5 years of not getting COVID, it got me. Oh man, you got taken down. Ivermectin, dude. Ivermectin cures that shit. Just load up with ivermectin, you're good. Quiet part, XRP will end the Fed. There you go. Say the quiet part out loud. Say the quiet part out loud. You will say the name. Say the name. Yes, my charger. Okay. Well, then say your charger, dude. I was like, you lost your charger. By the way, I was traveling and I left. I usually have 1 or 2 of them with me, but I didn't realize I already had one in my bag because I usually have one in my backpack. So I just like to take my computer real fast. And that way I don't forget the charger and I leave it in there. But somehow I left my charger somewhere. And I know the pain, dude. It's like $100 for another charger. And I left it somewhere. I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but somehow it ended up happening. Somehow or another. Nobody knows exactly. Peter Brandt. You know Peter Brandt. He's the futures market trader. He's been, he talks a lot about he's kind of been all over the place when it comes to crypto, but this is kind of an interesting post from him. He shows up in my feed every once in a while, but I thought this was an interesting post, especially coming from him. But he says, let's say that I'll buy $100,000 of either XRP or Solana this week. No other option, but only one of the two, please. Which one? State your case, 40 words max, or I'll ignore. Remember, XRP or Solana, only choices. So this is what he's sort of put up, these two charts right here. He wants people to weigh in. You know, people like, hey, Peter, think the narrative 18 XRP ETFs, SEC settlement finalization, stablecoin regulation, stablecoins being released on the XRP weekly, narrative around Ripple acquisition of Hidden Road and possible acquisition of Circle, drive strong speculation, plus all the way the headway Ripple's making in the UAE with licenses, tokenization, and more. The Solana narrative does not come close. It's good. Putting a good point there. Airgrad Crypto says in crypto you cannot measure LOG scale and paste non-log scale. IT has to be log scale, and that's
Okay. That's interesting.
So do you trade stocks and options and blah blah blah? I'll go XRP. So it looks like there's a lot in here. XRP offers way more asymmetric opportunity. XRP global trading with Trump was executive order 13772, first to press run, partners with Saudi. You know, so it looks, I'm not seeing any Solana stuff in here. Take advice from strangers, solid idea. You are clueless for even thinking that. I want to bet against you.
Yeah.
As Peter Grant says that. XRP. So I haven't seen, have you seen anything pro Solana yet? I haven't seen much.
Nothing in there at all. They don't have much of an X presence, apparently.
Well, here we go. Okay, so Solana outperformed both LT and ST's timeframes, rallying from higher relative low.
Okay.
Solana's negative divergence on the monthly. XRP doesn't.
Interesting. See?
Based on charts only, I'd buy XRP. However, what matters most are fundamentals. I believe Solana is going to do better than XRP the next leg of the season.
Sol has definitely done better in the
of course
in the latest, especially everything to do with NFTs, building, development, just lightning years ahead in the here and now. Not saying the technology is lightning years ahead, just saying from a practical perspective and pricing perspective.
Why don't you just split the difference and then 50-50? You know that, Peter. Put 50 and 50 and see which one performs better.
Yeah, why would you only go all in one anyways?
I think he's just asking. I think he's saying if you're going to give him a reason why you would go all in on one, you know, but who knows? I mean, I don't know what he's fishing for, but he, you know, but there's a lot. Sol seems to be closing on breaking above upper trend line. XRP already did that, leaving room for a retest on the upper trend line. I love how everyone's like an expert in the charts all of a sudden. Everybody wants to pretend that they're an expert. But anyway, thought that was some interesting fodder.
Yeah, Chip, I've got a soundbite for you.
What you got?
There we go.
Play it.
Turn this up. Here we go.
And roasted beans straight to your cave monthly without burning your wallet. No fluff, no fads, just fucking great coffee. Hand-picked, small batch, roasted, Yeti approved. Ho to join the rebellion. Drink like a legend. Badass YETISCoffee.com. The percolation never stops.
I love it, dude. I love it. Isn't it good?
Nah, it's fucking
great, dude. Great. I will drop that in there. Badass Yetis Coffee. I'll drop that in there. It is roasted. It is roasted to perfection, but it's roasted fresh and sent out. It doesn't sit in a can for 6 or 12 months like all the other coffees do. So if you guys want to get something good, and there is a, I think do we have the
day.
We have a coupon on there too. So I don't know if we have the coupon live. Maybe we don't have
there. I don't know if it's live.
Let's see it up there, but we do have a coupon for it. But anyway. But yeah, it's a little bit, it's a little costlier, but there's a reason. It's roasted fresh and sent. You probably never drank, you know, freshly roasted coffee, but there it is. There's Badass Yetis Coffee there, people. I like that soundbite a lot. Badass Yetis Coffee. Okay.
Look, you'd be addicted.
Okay.
Yetis. The Yetis.
Yetis.
The Yetis. Yetis.com.
Yetis.
Yetis.
Yetis. It's better than
All right.
Trebe. Sometimes it says Trebe
I
instead of
just put
Tribe.
that together.
Man, you know,
Since we are at the battle, how many Yetis do we have, by the way?
new word of the day: coffee.
How many
We've got
Yetis?
13, dude. Lucky number 13.
All right, well, I'm
Lucky
going to
number
roll this one because lucky number 13. Love that number. And we're going to quadruple that number. No, we're going to double that number. So we have to double that number, and this is going to stimulate the doubling.
16.
Here we go. Here we go. Gonna
16,
roll it.
baby. Let's do it.
16. Here we go.
We're the baddest Yeti from the Blue Tribe. Word of the day, yeah! You got your song and wallet ready. Cause this is gonna be a bit. Time to claim your legendary Blue Tribe, yeah! Of the clan, Frostbeards, his name, Truma. Let's go! On the chain, badass yetis, born for battle, made for legend. Claim yours or be forgotten. Badass yetis on the chain.
Oh.
I like that one. That was catchy, man.
That was pretty sweet.
That was a smoke show right there, man. Beautiful.
Thruma.
Damn.
Name is Thruma.
It says XRP Vegas be full of influencers who 3 years ago were Bitcoin maxis, Solana memes, etc. XRP hype videos now monetize their YouTube channels. They do.
Yes.
No land, hoping for an 8-bedroom with 3 baths, heated floors, indoor sauna.
We have some land.
We have some land if you're lucky. Oh shit!
Threw my shoes by the door.
He says,
I'm
"Ooh,
sorry.
ooh, this has got some swag, vibing for it for real." There you go, Thermo. Adrian Stormberg, simulate doubling. Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. Beautiful. All right, we're going to transition over to the geopolitical scene here. There's a lot of stuff going on around this big, beautiful bill. It did pass on the House. Stephen Miller, extraordinary, chimed in on it. He said, you know, it's impossible to overstate how exceptional and extraordinary the one big, beautiful truly is. Delivers enthusiastically on every major campaign promise in the 24 landslide electoral mandate. Number one, the largest tax cut and reform in history. No tax on tips and overtime. Massive tax cut for fixed income seniors, interest on car loans fully tax deductible if the car is American, fast track a new energy projects and provides protection against future regulation, terminates the Green New Deal, yay, no welfare or government health care for illegals, double yay, ends waste, fraud, and abuse in government welfare, the largest welfare reform in history, full upfront funding for the entire border wall and water barriers. Will ever need to ask Democrats for these funds, denying them leverage on all future annual appropriation bills, pay raise for ICE and Border Patrol, full funding for every border and immigration security priority for the American people voted for, making it the most significant border and homeland bill in American history. Port security to help keep fentanyl out of the U.S., funds the Golden Dome, state-of-the-art shield against enemy missile strikes on our soil, defunds the transgender agenda and attacks on our kids, cuts $1.6 trillion in mandatory spending, net spending, and also the most pro-American tax bill ever, including 100% expensing on new American factories to ensure the future is made in America. And there you have it. And so the follow-up to that one is kind of what I've been seeing too, because a lot of people just really don't understand how things work, and you kind of have to. I'm glad a guy like Stephen Miller is putting this stuff out. He says, I've seen a few claims making the rounds on the big, beautiful bill that require correction. The first is that it doesn't codify the Doge cut. So a lot of people are like, and Elon Musk came out and said he was disappointed because it's not going to codify the actual Doge cuts that they want to make. He's saying a reconciliation bill, which is a budget bill that passes with 50 votes, is limited by Senate rules to mandatory spending only. For example, Medicaid, food stamps, The Senate rules prevent it from cutting discretionary spending. Example, the Department of Education or federal grants. Those cuts are overwhelmingly discretionary, not mandatory. This bill saves more than $1.6 trillion in mandatory spending, including the largest ever welfare reform, a remarkable achievement. And I've also seen claims that the bill increases the deficit. This lie is based on a CBO accounting gimmick. Income tax rates from the 2017 tax cut are set to expire in September. They were always planned to be permanent. CBO says maintaining current rates adds to the deficit, but by definition, leaving some of those income tax unchanged cannot add 1 penny to the deficit. The bill's spending cuts reduce the deficit according or against the current law baseline, which is only the correct baseline to use. Another fantastically false claim is that the bill spends trillions of dollars. This is just completely invented out of whole cloth. This is not even a 10-year budget bill. It doesn't fund almost every operation of government, which are funded in the annual budget bills, which this one is not. In other words, if this bill passed, but the annual budget bill did not, there would be no government funding. Under the math that the critics are using, if we pass one paragraph reconciliation bill that cuts simply $10 billion in food stamp spending, they would say that that bill added trillions in spending and debt because they're counting all the projected federal spending that exists outside the scope of this legislation, which is, of course, preposterous. The only funding in this bill is for the president's border, defense policies, priorities, I should say, while enacting a net spending cut of over $1.6 trillion. This bill has two fiscal components, a massive tax cut and a massive spending cut. There you have it. And that's it when you deal with a reconciliation bill. This is not like the end all be all. This is not put everything into it. This is simply slimmed down mandatory type of bill, Jeff. A lot of people have been getting it wrong out there. A lot of people chiming in and getting
A lot of people are getting it wrong. Too many people are getting it wrong, Chip.
Too many people who know better is the problem. The problem I have. I mean, especially the pundits on both sides of the aisle who know better and have seen these bills over and over again. I mean, this is not like this is something out of left field. So it's good to what's going on, Justin? Good evening, gentle dudes. I love being a gentle dude. What's up, gentle dude? Gentle dude. So that's kind of and even like because Elon Musk said he was a little bit miffed the fact that they weren't going to codify it. I'm like, well, yeah, they're not in this bill. This is not the bill for that. But I do hope that they do codify it in other bills and future bills. That would be something to put forward. Right, Jeff.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Then so I'm seeing a lot of dust up going over there in the UK. A lot of stuff's happening. And I saw these two videos kind of popping into my feed today. But here we go. There's been some demonstrations.
Stuff going on. Stuff is going on, Chip.
Rise up. Britain's demand Starmer resign. From London to Leeds, Glasgow to Southampton. Thousands flooded in the streets today. Starmer must go. This isn't a protest. It's a national uprising. What it means, over 76 cities saw action with one voice calling out corruption, censorship, betrayal. People are no longer trust the man at the top. Tide is turning, and it's not stopping. Legacy media won't report it. Westminster wants to ignore it, but the country's done waiting. Britain is speaking, and Starmer can't hide from this. People want their country back, and here's a little bit of that today.
Van drivers going for it. And now the crowd are getting lively. 235,000 likes already. Fucking hell. Thank you to Maggie. Maggie, big up Maggie. Everyone's showing their support today. Shout to Matt, shout to Babs. Thank you, Chloe.
You just get a little taste. This is going on all over the place. There's tons of these videos. I just happen to pull this one here. And then you got the man on the street sort of interviewing people. It's so funny how Reform UK, which is Nigel Farage's party, where the youth are really adapting. And we saw this happen with Trump as well, is where the youth were like, hey, man, no, I mean, we're done with all this BS. So Reform UK party, getting a lot of nods to from the younger generation here.
England's England. And sometimes I don't even want to be here.
Why is that? Well, it's getting worse.
Too many bloody foreigners. You look around, there's a foreigner. No more England. Might as well name it something else. Hell.
Hell? Why hell?
There's too many foreigners.
Immigrants are jarring.
There we go. What he said.
What's that?
Immigrants are jarring.
What does that mean, jarring?
Annoying. Send them back. You have homeless English people not getting housed, but you have immigrants that come here. They're illegal and they get housed. It's a joke.
So just illegal. You're saying just illegal.
Illegal immigrants.
But legal. I'm talking. I just asked that.
Yeah, but,
Just about legal
yeah,
migrants.
but even if they're legal immigrants, they still shouldn't be put over English people. No, shouldn't. We spend too much.
You see a lot of the same thing going on over there with a lot of anger over, English people who are struggling, right? Economy's bad, having a lot of struggles, dealing with trying to feed their family. And then somebody waltzes in the country and they're like, oh, what do you want? You got housing, you got food, you got this, you got that. We saw that happen in the US. That's where, the last election, people got pretty fed up. Like, hey, this isn't right. So we have our veterans who are sleeping on the streets and they're not well taken care of. And the whole idea is like, when does any civilization country not put its citizens first? When do you not put the people of your country first? The people that are living, and having some hardship, those are the folks you're supposed to be taking care of. Not people waltzing in just because they were able to walk across an imaginary line, a border. So why can't we preserve the culture of the countries? Why is it that, you have to have the US and the UK and all these other countries in Europe have to give up their sovereignty? They have to give up their culture, their language, their borders. Why? Why can't they preserve their language, culture, and borders the same way any country would? Same way any other country in the world would want to preserve that. So I see a lot of the similar frustrations bubbling up over there in the UK.
Yeah, I mean it has to be. You can only get so far, where you're kind of pushing and backing people into a corner. The one poignant thing one of the poignant things that you brought up, specifically is why, if people are coming into your country, right, and they can bring, some of their culture with them, we see it here. The United States is a melting pot, which is what makes it, pretty amazing, right? You go to New York City and you can sample any kind of food from any part of the world. Miami, heavily, Latin culture here. A lot of people came here from Cuba and Venezuela and, throughout South America, Colombia, etc., Peru, so you get a lot of that flavor. But what we're witnessing, though, in this country, as well as other countries, and, England, over in the UK, they're finally kind of getting back into a corner where the expectation is that not only are these people coming into the country, bringing, some of their cultural, the good things of the culture, but they're bringing everything to the point where they want to displace. It's an invasion. It's not, hey, we want to come there because we want to be British. People come here because they want part of the American dream. As soon as you come here and you say, we don't want the American dream, we're coming there because we're going to bring our ideology, and our ideology trumps your ideology. And we're coming there to do whatever we can to overthrow your ideology, to belittle your ideology, to crush it, to crush up your culture, to step all over your culture. They want to step on our flag. They want to burn our flag. They want to humiliate our people in the streets. That doesn't fly. That doesn't work. The governments of these countries, like over in the UK, were siding with these people that have been coming in as guests or coming in illegally, and they're siding with them over their own citizenry, which is crazy. Now, if you come over to England and you say, hey, you know what? I'm coming to England because I love your culture. I want to be part of that culture. Therefore, this is why I'm moving there. I'm going to do everything I can to assimilate to being British. Whatever I need to do to assimilate, if I didn't speak English, I now have to learn English to come over into here. And that's one of the problems in this country that was never recognized, is that the official language of this country has to be English. The reason why this country, the United States, succeeded, one of their key reasons, was because of commonality of culture from a perspective of language, business culture, right? We're able to get along. You can go border to border and you still speak English. You still operate under, similar law. There's different jurisdictions, there's state laws and things like that. But overall, you go state to state, and you're going to experience more or less the same thing. But the biggest commonality of all that was because we have language, and the language is English. And we share, share that from from the beginning. Now,
Yeah.
you go over into other countries, and one of the reasons why, like in Europe, they don't have the same, not the only reason, obviously there's a lot of reasons why they don't have the same experience that we do here, but one of them is that they don't share a similar language. The language has to be English. Business transaction on a global scale has to be English. And this is where, it's interesting to see how that occurred. But if you're from China, you want to do business in this country, you speak English. If you're from the Middle East, China, and South America, let's say, and they all come together to do business, guess what language they speak? Probably not Spanish, probably not Chinese, probably not Arabic. It's going to be English. And because that has become the global business language. And then you have people that come into these countries, like over in England or even in this country, right? They refuse to speak English. Like, well, how far are you going to go outside of the border of your small community? You're not going to exist, because you can't work outside of your small community. And therefore, that's why we saw, it's very centric, like in Miami, and not just first generation, but second generation were born in the country, didn't speak English, right? And that becomes problematic. I'm not saying give up your languages, because I think it's really important to speak more than one language. But you have to speak the country you go to, embrace their culture, embrace their language, do everything you can, to more or less, quote unquote, assimilate, be part of that culture, without abandoning who you are and your identity and your culture. That's all part of it. That's the melting pot, not there to step all over you and replace your culture.
I want to address Remy's. He said, okay, sure, as an extreme, but who's coming here with that kind of logic? I don't know. It seems like a extreme point of view. I don't necessarily know if it's an extreme point of view. Look, I mean, my family immigrated. Part of it came through Canada, from Hungary, and my grandfather came down. The rest of my family stayed in Canada. And then on my grandmother's side, on my dad's side, so it was Hungary as well, Hungary. But then we had, I had a great grandfather come over here from Italy. So I'm also Italian. I'm also Irish. So I've got that Irish part of my family, which is my mom's family splits Italian Irish. So there's a lot of customs and things that we celebrate. And then, my wife is from South America. Both my kids speak fluent Spanish. I'm not good with, I barely speak English, but my kids it was important for them to be fluent. They're both very fluent in Spanish. They can speak comfortably either way. So my wife speaks Spanish. So it's like, to me, and there's cultural from where their family's from, in South America. So we want to be able to honor that too. And there's things in certain foods or customs that we do around the holidays. So you kind of blend them, but it's one thing is true. We're universally American. We consider ourselves to be American. We consider ourselves to be American first, and we take a lot of that stuff. That's a very different point of view than coming in there and trying to implement and change the way laws are. We're not going to be implementing something that's outside of the bounds of the Constitution. We're not going to be putting religious things in you have your freedom, but you're not going to impose that on other people. So that's a big part of what I feel that is sort of a very different side. And I'm going to play a little bit more of this video here.
Tax money on immigrants, and I think that's a joke. And we should worry about our own people before others.
Do you think the political class generally are doing that then?
No. I think the Conservative Party is an absolute joke, and young people in this country don't have a voice, and it makes me sick.
And so if you could vote, lads, who would you vote for?
Who would I vote for?
Yeah.
Reform UK, probably.
Yeah, that's the one.
Reform UK.
Yes, mate.
Reform UK.
Yes.
They're all talking about Reform UK now.
Prime Minister, get rid of him.
Water mug.
Yes.
So the media would say that people that vote Reform UK, older, boomers, racists.
Just Reform UK though.
But hold on one sec. But we've got a young guy, mixed heritage, who's saying Reform UK. So what are those people wrong about? What attracts you to Reform UK?
Reform UK is that, if you're an actual English citizen, you actually have a voice in what happens in this country. But then with a Conservative Party, we don't ever get a voice. So Conservatives just rich people doing what they want to make the most money that they can, which has always been for ages. But Reform UK, actual working class English people have a voice in what happens in the country.
We were talking to some young boys over there a moment ago, and they really surprised me because they said they were into Reform UK.
Yeah, that's what everyone's been saying. Everyone around Chai has been saying that they're like Reform UK, they're very into it. I haven't really heard many people talking about Labour. It's mainly just been Reform UK, like people, you know, like 15, 16 and everything, just been talking.
That will surprise many people.
Yeah.
That's kind of strange because most people think Reform voters, older, homeowners, blokes in their
Boomers.
50s and 60s, just saying it's kids in Chichester. Sorry, kids. Young adults in Chichester.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of people that are just, if you ask anyone around here, like 15, 16, maybe even young, they'll all just say like it's all about Reform UK. They don't really have an opinion on like Conservatives or Labour, or it's just,
Why though? What's driving them to that opinion?
I don't know. I think it's because TikTok, because there's been a lot of things about Reform UK coming from like other teens in other places. It will be like they'll kind of be influenced by that. And it will be like, because social media has got such an impact and influence on.
They're also spreading the messages, but we laugh here because what they call the conservatives are the Democrats, and what they call the Tories. You know, they call the Tories the conservatives. We call them Democrats over here. There's no conservative party in the UK, and the Reform UK is probably about the closest to it. And then you've got Labour, which is even further to the left than the Tories, the so-called conservatives. So yeah, it's a little bit of it's interesting to see the turn. So they're starting to see some rising up. People are getting tired. They're getting tired of all the BS. They're getting tired of the censorship. They're starting to say like, hey man, we start time to speak up, start time to rallying, and we're starting to see a little bit of a turn. You know, I've always said Scott Bessent is Scott Bessent's like one of the probably the most brightest spots in the Trump administration. And Jeff, listen to him going full beast mode in this clip right here. Listen to this. He's the Treasury Secretary in the administration.
Panicans and Democrats and shit, they're all just a bunch of losers. And we don't care about losers. We care about winning because we're fucking winners. And all these haters can kiss my ass. So anyway, our economy is going to be fucking awesome. And President Trump is the greatest president of all time. I fucking love that man. America's back, baby.
Wow, did you see that, Jeff? That was crazy. That has to be AI, right? I'm pretty sure that's AI. I have a feeling that's probably going to be AI. And you know, every once in a while you get like these weirdos that kind of this woman. I almost thought this. I had to see if it was parody, if it wasn't. But a woman followed a police officer in his car, followed him back to the police station. And she was super angry because he apparently didn't use a turn signal. So this escalated quick. So listen to this, Jeff.
Doesn't he get a ticket?
Oh yeah.
I can help you talk to somebody.
He didn't use his turn signal.
What the?
Can I please call you an ambulance?
She wants to give the cop a ticket. She followed him back to the police station. He didn't use the turn signal.
So I have to follow every law, but that can leave the scene without a turn signal? Give him a ticket!
Oh my God, dude.
Do you need an ambulance?
He doesn't have a turn signal! Give him a ticket!
You need to go to the...
Go and get a ticket! He can do whatever he wants!
Okay.
You need a
ticket!
Oh, fuck.
Can I help you with anything else?
Give him a ticket!
All right, so this dude, this is what I love about the internet. So this dude said, like, hey, that's a perfect metal voice right there. That's some. Right. Here we go.
He didn't use his turn signal!
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Turn signal! Turn signal!
Can I please call you an ambulance? I can help you talk to somebody.
He didn't use his turn signal! Turn signal!
I love it.
Turn signal!
Can I please call you an ambulance? I can help you talk to someone.
You gotta love it. You
Oh my God, I love it.
You gotta love that, man.
Signal.
Send your
Bird
sister
signal.
signal. Rocket. Man, you gotta love the internet. The internet is still undefeated, man. I mean, guy's a good drummer too, man. He's playing that double bass beautifully. I was like, damn, he used to have in every part of it.
Yeah.
Man, it's just
What is
fantastic.
up?
Yeah. By the way, I just want to play this one here. By the way, we know a lot of TDS is going around, Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh yeah.
There's someone to help, Jeff.
The election made you feel on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being Nazi. My name is Dr. Nick Peterson, and I specialize in those suffering from TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Hello, I'm Dr. Peterson. How are you? Well, Donald Trump is a felon. Nope. I asked how you were doing. The majority of Americans can mentally handle election results on both sides of the aisle. However, there's this small, albeit growing, group of, I don't want to say Americans, but people that are just disconnected from reality. Fascist. And honestly, it makes diagnosing these people a whole lot easier. I just check their social media. Gone are the days when you just search your symptoms on WebMD at home by yourself. Now they record their symptoms and post them for the world to see. The haircut is also a dead giveaway. So, what brings you in today? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the orange democracy-destroying, Putin-loving dictator. All right, so mental illness. They are completely blind to the fact that their absurd actions and ideologies were a big factor in their party's loss. Let me ask you this. Do you even know what a democracy is? Follow-up question. Do you know how Kamala Harris became the nominee? I know you're a deplorable Nazi fascist bigot. Okay, neat. Turns out that calling half the country Nazis for 4 years was not a winning strategy. And yet somehow, not even Cardi B could save him. Do you realize what I'm going through? Yep, delusions. I am losing my right to vote. What? Where are you getting your information? Whoopi Goldberg? Well, what's the remedy, you might be wondering? Well, if you ask me, it's a history lesson in Jesus, but the pharmacy doesn't offer those. I prescribe them a brain, and I send them to trybrain.com for more information. Well, I'll show you. I'm moving to Canada. That'd be great. And I'll be shaving my head. Oh, that's... no. And one last thing. I'm going on a sex strike. Your loss. Oh, no.
Internet is undefeated. Undefeated. Hit 2 thumbs up every time I watch.
What in
That
the
chick
world?
sing for Slipknot. Of course, yeah. She crushed it. Sigmund Freud would have a field day today. Yeah, man, insane. All right, let's roll the Yeti again, and we're gonna do the drawing, Jeff. Let's do
All right.
the drawing.
Where are we?
Let's roll it. Roll it.
Got
Got that
something
catchy
for
tune.
you. Got something for you. Got something for you right here.
We're the baddest Yeti from the Blue Tribe. Word of the day, yeah. You got your arm and wallet ready. Cause this is gonna be a bit. Time to claim your legendary Blue Tribe, yeah. Of the clan, Frostbeards, his name, Truma. Let's go! On the chain, badass yetis, born for battle, made for legend. Claim yours, or be forgotten. Badass yetis, on the chain.
Oh yeah, on the chain, baby. And there it is, people. We've got 30 in the queue. We got a 1 in 30 chance. Look at that. 30 on a Sunday night, right before we go into Memorial Day. Look at this right here. So, guys, let's go. Cue the song, Jeff, and I will pull the trigger on the draw.
Give me 1 second. It's just downloading one thing. Let me get the there we go. Up. Here we go. Here we go.
Let's go. Who's gonna win it? Yeah. Uh-huh.
On the chain. Badass Yetis.
Zober.
Nice.
He said it was yigged, not rigged, but yigged.
It was definitely yigged.
We can pull another one if you want, Zober. If you think it was yigged, we can pull another one. Our Visual Vendetta was right there too, man.
Almost. It was so close.
Congrats, Zober. Again, congratulations coming in for congrats. Zober says it was yigged. I think we have to pull again. Yigged. It's yigged. All right. Well, the big winner
Hang
here.
on. Trying to find our giveaways here. There we go.
Yeah, where are they? Come on now. Hey now.
Hey, we need your Zaman wallet and
your X
we need
handle.
your X. X marks the spot.
For you people that don't have X handles, take 5 minutes and fill out one and get an X handle so we can put it in our post.
And we have some land to give away today too, actually. And we even have a song for that. We'll see how that goes.
Sober, drop the wallet.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
Jeff, I'll be right back. I gotta run to the front door for 1 second. I'll be right.
Going to the front door. He's going to the front door. All right. While he's doing that, I realized what I forgot to do. So I got to get this set up, and then I got to make sure I can find and see your Zaman wallet when you post it up there. So let's get that going. Give me 1 second. There it is. I see it. All right, perfect. It's difficult because on our software platform, we can see the wallet, can't access the wallet. So then we got to actually log into the YouTube and get it over there. All right, so here we go. Let me pull up our guy here in 2 seconds. We're going to transfer this to you. As soon as we transfer this, we're going to play the new song, as good as it can possibly be for the land draw, because something we just put together. But it'd be pretty cool. Well, let me do this. Hang on 1 second. I got to scan. Open up the wallet. Going to go to the Zaman wallet. Going to open this bad boy up. We're going to scan. And we are going to give. Here we go. Okay. Sliding. Here we go, Zober. Get ready. Verifying. Transfer has been submitted. And there you go. Submitted successfully. You are now the proud owner of Badass Yeti number 264. His name is Thruma. Thruma of the Frostbeards. Thruma of the Frostbeards.
Thruma.
Big winner of the day. Thruma.
Yeah, don't forget your Twitter handle is Zober. Zober, what is your X handle, dude? Drink more coffee.
Okay. I got to go back to the YouTube. See if you put it in there. I didn't even notice.
I didn't see it in here. No, there's a reminding him. I don't think so. No, I don't see it in here.
Go back up. I don't see it. Who's number one? Look at that. Number one, Chad Newsom. Number one in the community, or Chad Nauseum. Okay, let me go. Oh, wait. I thought I just saw it. Nope.
Zober underscore.
You see it?
Yeah.
It says message retracted.
It says Zober underscore.
Okay. I still don't see it. Live chat.
Yeah, there it is. I don't see I see a Zober. Hang on a second. No, see this is not good. Now I see the same. Which one is his? Because here we go. That's what I see here. I see this. I see Zober underscore one. Both have the same one. So then
which one is it?
Zober one. Which one is it? Is it
He
this
just
one?
he just says Zober underscore. Try Zober underscore without a one.
No, there is none. But see, that's the same. That's the same image, though. You see?
I see that. So let's go with that one. Zober.
Right one. You sure it doesn't have an _1? Because that's the same image right there. It's _1.
It probably is.
And then like just
maybe he left out the 1 when he copied and pasted it in. Yeah, it is 1. He's got it. Said it's Zober _1. So, all right. Now we're gonna pull up. Let me pull up the land. So this guy is gone. Badass Yeti 264 is gone. Let me pull up this land. Let me roll this real quick. Let's see if this
before we
plays.
do that, I'm gonna put in land. You know, type in LAND land.
Oh shoot.
Type in
The
land.
word
There's
of the
9
day.
of them.
9 of them so far. Man, what's the word? Land. LAND. Right?
Correct.
Land. We're gonna give
Land.
away. Let
10
me
of
show
them
you
right now.
guys the land, and then we're gonna roll the then we'll roll the song. There's the land right there, Hillside City. So 4 plots on Hillside City from X Spectre. All right. So here we go. Let's see how this rolls.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round and hold on tight. We've got a giveaway that'll blow the digital roof off the metaverse. Welcome to the XS Spectre Virtual Land giveaway. And today's spotlight is shining bright on Hillside City Zone 5, Parcel 3. One of the most coveted slices of virtual terrain this side of the ledger. That's right. This giveaway includes not 1, not 2, but 4 exclusive plots. 1799, 1799, 2072, and 2003. Bundled together into NFT R1Z 5P3.
You gotta.
It wasn't perfect.
You gotta post the video too, though, Jeff. You gotta post the video.
That video was bad.
You gotta post
It was bad. The plots were 1798, 1799, 1802, and 1803. I don't know what it said. I don't know what it was saying.
Saying all kinds of stuff.
It was saying
Landfill. All right. All right. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and post this up on the screen. We got the land up there, and let's get the tune going. And I will go ahead and pull the trigger. We got a 1 in 20 chance of winning this one.
1 in 20 already. Damn.
1 in 20.
Here we go.
Let's go. Let's go. Who's going to win the land? Draw again. Charles won yesterday. 1 winner per month. Let's go. Go ahead. Keep it going.
On the redraws, that's pretty funny. I love it. We're all gonna pull money together. We're gonna go and play go play the lottery or blackjack.
Yeah, dude, you better start playing the lottery.
Charles
put the tune up there, guys. Go ahead and draw. Draw again. Justin Harrison. Boom. Justin claims his leadership upon the top marks there. So both he and Jen both own land, I think. I think she won the other night. There you go. Justin wins. Big winner. All right, man. Dude, you better start playing
land
you better get scratch off tickets. You better get lottery tickets. You better play like the giant, lotteries, everything, man. Justin says he's here. Yeah, we need your X handle as well.
Yeah.
X handle.
X handle. Let's see.
I can find it. Badass Yetis.
Badass Yetis.
On the chain. Badass Yetis.
Huh. We need Justin's wallet. Oh, where did I just put it? There they are.
The chain. Badass Yetis. On the chain, badass yetis.
Right.
All right, there we go, man.
Go get your wallet. Go get your wallet.
Winning
Left,
tonight, folks.
he left his wallet in the other room. Marquee. Got it.
You got that?
Yep. I just need the wallet. Get to me the wallet.
Let's see.
All right. Man, we're rocking and rolling over here.
Yep. Followed him back. Got it.
All right.
All right.
Sweet.
Good deal.
Let's go. Mike says Charles has to have a security clearance.
Charles is crushing it, man. Crushing it.
Man, that's great.
Crushing it, dude. Well, congratulations to the winners tonight, Zober and Justin Harrison. That's awesome, guys. We will be posting that out there if you guys can. XRP is my biggest bag. Justin has a wallet. Congrats.
Art Lake #1 in the community right now.
But I thought it was rigged.
It was rigged.
Oh, rigged. By the way, just so you know, Mark Smithson cannot go to Vegas next week, but he'll be at the Dollar Store in Sterling Heights.
Hey, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you at the Dollar Store in Sterling Heights. How about that?
Sterling Heights. That's funny, man. That's fantastic.
Justin, come on.
This is in. We're still waiting on that. Are we still waiting on that on the
We are.
Waiting on that?
Waiting on, yeah.
Risky? Is it risky? Is it risky? Is it risky? Is it risky?
Apparently it is. Margaritas. Margaritas. That's the best margaritas. Badass Yetis on the chain. Badass Yetis on the chain.
All right, well,
There's a roasted bean straight to your cave monthly without burning your wallet. No fluff, no fads, just fucking great coffee. Hand-picked, small batch, roasted, Yeti approved. Ho to join the rebellion. Drink like a legend. Badass. YetisCoffee.com.
Yetis.
The percolation never stops.
Never stops, dude. Never stops. Never stops.
All right, here we go. Here we go, Justin. Get ready for this. Because this
Justin
is
in shock.
Man, it's 922. Look at that. It's good numbers. 2122. I love it. All right, here we go. Coming to you, Justin, in 5. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
What can you buy for $1?
There we go. Now I'm signing it. It's on its way. 5, 4, 3,
There it goes.
2, 1. Done. Submitted successfully. And you are now the proud owner of R1Z5P3.
Beautiful.
4 plots in Hillside City over at X Spectre. Check out the X Spectre land. Zone 5, parcel 3, 4 plots, 1798, 1799, 1802, and 1803.
Wait, I'm going to play us out with this because it's Memorial Day, but we're going to play this last one and we're going to get out of here.
We are gathered here on the sacred soil of Arlington National Cemetery to honor the lives and deeds of America's greatest heroes, the men and women who laid down their lives for our freedom. Today we pay tribute to their service, we mourn alongside their families, and we strive to be worthy of their sacrifice. They fought and bled and died so that America would forever remain safe and strong and free. As long as we are blessed with patriots such as these, we shall forever remain one people, one family, and one nation under God.
There we have it, guys. We will be back on Wednesday evening here, Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Guys, have a great rest of your week. And that's all we got. Justin said he got it. He's in. Got it, dude.
He's in the Expectorverse.
Expectorverse, baby. Beautiful. Thank you for great shows always. Yes, appreciate it. Fine gentlemen, gentle dudes. I love it, man. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah. Safe Memorial Day. Remember why we celebrate. Enjoy, you guys. Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you, Charles. Charles, the winner. Charles is not going to become the winner. He's just going to be known as the winner. He's the winningest winner and the winningest winner of winner history.
He should change his name. That'd be pretty sweet. Just shows up the winner.
So we love you guys too, man. Thank you, brothers. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. Thanks, Art. Guys, have a good one. We'll see you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff. Oh, see you guys on Wednesday.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.